separation is this moment by moment choice, again and again, to choose love over fear. There's a word in Greek. It means arete. It means to live at your highest potential, moment by moment by moment by moment. And every moment is a choice, and it's a choice between love and fear. It's an understanding that this thing we're on, it's a ride. It's a great ride we're on. And every moment we have this choice to come back to what's real, to come back to this, or to go back to sleep. And becoming more comfortable in our sleep is not what the awakening is about. The awakening is about waking up. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, I guess, because to me, 9/11 is one of the beautiful emblems. It's a wake-up call.
Amen.
It says, will you wake up? Not will we, as Sara, I love the way she pronounces it, by the way. It evokes memories of Latin princesses, Sara. Not to go back into the world of story and thinking and belief and concept, but will we come back to the real? Because as the Course in Miracles says, nothing unreal exists, and nothing real can be threatened. Ramana Maharshi, one of the greatest saints of India of all time, said the same exact thing. Would you mind if we turn the projector?
Kill the lamp?
Yeah.
As soon as I figure out how.
Watch this.
All right. He's a prophet. So I gotta turn it off. Carrie, help!
So Ramana Maharshi was this simple little guy. And he had his spiritual awakening because when he was a little boy, he faced his own death. And in facing his own death, he came face to face with what he called the great void, which we might call love, or we might call God, or we might call spirit, or we might call, as Shasada said, consciousness. But he came face to face with that, with the I am. Jesus said, before Abraham was, I am. That's it. So Ramana Maharshi came face to face with this I am, and he had his awakening. And he was just this little dude walking around to the Vedic priest at the time said, wow, I think this guy's like really got his... I know what he's talking about. And he said the same thing. He said, nothing unreal exists and nothing real can be threatened. And any spiritual teacher worth their salt will ultimately, in their own way and in their own language, give you one profound message. And that is this, is that you suffer from a case of profound mistaken identity. And everything that happens, A Course in Miracles has a beautiful line. It says, all things are lessons God would have me learn. And everything that comes into our life can produce change. 9/11 produced a massive amount of change. 2 wars, $500 billion of spending of quote-unquote homeland security to stay safe from something, except that there is no something. So if all things are lessons God would have me learn, and nothing real can in actuality ever be threatened, these are all just wake-up calls, but with a Zen alarm clock, although 9/11 was like a gong. But you know what? If we really look at everything in the totality of oneness, light and dark begin to merge, and it's actually hard to tell the difference. It may be heresy, but really, in the totality of oneness, the sacred and the profane, they go by the wayside. We keep coming back to this deep experience of oneness, of love, of connection. Because 9/11, I believe, is a beautiful wake-up call. And so I guess that's what I'm going to talk about. Does that sound good? So I want to finish up the story about Ramana Maharshi. He was just a simple little man. And all he did is he would ask people, who are you? Just see into who you really are. See into what you really are. There's no complicated spiritual practices for that. You don't need to trump off to the Himalayas, to go to the River Ganges to find it. We're right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, tonight, on September 11th, 2011. And what if, just let me pose a question to you, what if tonight was the end of your seeking? Tonight is the end of the world. This is the world we created, through this world of thought. We don't need to go back to sleep, but just to wake up. And if you ever noticed, when you wake up, most of us just wake up. You just wake up. If you turn your alarm clock, you're eventually going to, if you turn your alarm clock off, you're eventually going to wake up. It's the most natural thing. It's the most natural thing. And a good teacher or a good guide sees only the awakeness in you because, again, nothing else is actually there in all actuality. The awakeness sees itself. The I am that looks out through my eyes connects with the I am looking out from your eyes. And hatred and violence and greed and corruption begin when belongingness ends. When a sense that we literally belong to each other. We are each other's stewards. We are each other's shepherds. And when that ends, when that belongingness ends, when the heart-centered beingness ends, and we create a cacophony of concepts and stories and rules and beliefs and schisms and isms, this is when we breathe the seeds of fear. So, I didn't really think about much to talk about tonight, because there's a wonderful prayer from A Course in Miracles that I love, that I've been using for years, and I'm going to share it with you. It says, I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him or her or it who sent me. I never have to worry about what to say or what to do because he, she, it will direct me. I am content to be wherever he, she, it wishes me to go, knowing that he, she, it goes there with me. I will be healed as I teach others to heal. You see, God doesn't remember it alone. We don't remember this whole process sitting on our can, reading an inspirational book, or in a cave somewhere in the Himalayas. We remember it together. We take each other's hands. And the forgiveness is not the forgiveness of the bastards who flew planes into the plane, but rather to the parts of ourselves that chose to see the separation. Because if we are, as Shushada said, all waves on the sea of consciousness, we're all just particles in the sea of humanity. Let me see what other stuff I got here. I like dolphins. Does anybody here like dolphins? I love dolphins. So it's very interesting tonight because, you know, here we are, we're like a little pod of dolphins. And there's pods all over the country doing something similar to this. And I guess there's 38 of us. Is this correct? Who's our head counter? Right. So assuming your arithmetic is on, which I'm sure it is, there's 38 of us. But you know, it takes a very small percent of a population to become a tsunami, a tipping point. It takes a very small percentage. In biological systems, it doesn't take a whole lot in a biological system to create what we call a phase shift. Doesn't matter what that means, it just means it's a whole different ballgame. It's an evolutionary leap that takes what was there and builds something completely brand new and a whole set of structures, a whole new set of structures, a whole new set of perceptions, a whole new set of behaviors that was completely heretofore unknown. And that's what we're doing here. This is the potential. This is no small thing. We're not just sitting in a room on East Arrowwood Road, you know, biding our time at 7:24 p.m. We are conscious co-creators of the world that we want to see. And this is the awakened impulse. And I'm telling you that now, this is the age of the common awakening. It's not just for Ramana Maharshi anymore. It's not just for Sri Nisargadatta. It's not just for Mother Teresa. It's not just for Martin Luther King. It's not for Nelson Mandela. It's for you, because if you don't do it, who's going to? And if we don't choose it, we know exactly what we'll see. But if we do choose it, we also know exactly what we'll see. We see a world where something that happened 10 years ago on September 11th, it's not even within the architecture to create. You see this?